What's up guys, Gabriel Varga here. Today I want to go through a tutorial with you where we talk about building your style based on your physical attributes. And what I mean by that is a lot of gyms teach one style for everybody. It doesn't matter if somebody's 5'6", 160 pounds, or somebody's 6'2", 170 pounds. It's the same techniques, the same game plan, the same style, the same drills for everybody. But that's not the way a good instructor should be teaching. So we're going to break down what will work best for you. If you're strong, if you're a little weaker, if you're tall, if you're short, all the little tweaks that you can be making based on your physical attributes. That is the discussion today, guys. Alright, in all my years of seeing coaches do their work, teaching other people, I've only seen one instructor who did such a good job of breaking down an entirely different style for each of his students. Now, obviously this is not doable if you have a gym of 200 people. You just have to kind of give everybody one thing to work with and then really focus in on the guys who are exceptional, who are going to be fighting. But that doesn't mean that you can't start doing your own work and changing your style on your own to make yourself a better fighter with whatever physical attributes you are working with. If you guys haven't already, make sure you give the video a like. If you haven't already, make sure you get subscribed. And guys, let's keep the video rolling. We will start by talking about people like me, taller fighters for your weight class. So if you're somebody who's somewhere like 2 to 4 inches above the average person in your weight class, there's a couple of things you want to be considering. Number one, if you're somebody like myself who is more like 5'10", 5'11", you're fighting at 145 pounds, you're competing against a lot of guys who range from 5'6" to 5'9", what I need to recognize, what I need to be aware of is a lot of these guys are going to be stronger in certain areas. Like if, for example, if we were to arm wrestle, their arm is probably bigger, they're probably a little stronger through the shoulder, they might beat me. If we got into who could bench press more, they might beat me. So I don't want to go with somebody who's shorter and just stand right at this range and try and bang away with them, because there is a good chance, it's not guaranteed, but there is a good chance that they will hit harder than me. It doesn't really matter, I'm not scared because they hit 10% harder, but why do you want to exchange with somebody who is just a little bit stronger than you? Why not play that outside game, that long game, and make them miss a lot? Or utilize that long jab and those long kicks to make them pay for not being able to reach you because their arms are shorter. So if you come, for example, from, let's say, a very Dutch style gym, they teach you, hands up, stand right in the pocket, throw your combinations, and that might not be the best style if you are somebody who feels like you are a little weaker than most of the people around your size or your weight. What you want to be doing is making sure that you are utilizing some fakes, you're staying on the outside, maybe throwing on some of those spinning kicks, utilizing all the techniques which a shorter fighter cannot. You can also get off nice long knees, control the head, and still sometimes stay out of that punch range if you lean back. These are all things to consider. But mostly for somebody who's taller, what I would suggest is getting down a really nice guard and learning to punch at this length. For myself, I don't want to close the gap and start throwing body shots because I'll walk to that distance where somebody can counter. So I've learned to throw my body shots from that far distance away. Become an effective tool for me. It keeps me safe. I'm not too worried about the counter shots. So if you're somebody who's taller, you want to get very good at that front kick. You want to keep people away. You want to get very good at throwing combinations where the arms are long. You don't want to be jamming yourself. Head kicks are very effective because you can get somebody before they can hit you at, again, that very long range. Now, let's move on to being a shorter fighter. If you're somebody who's shorter, the kicks for you, maybe up to head level or throwing lots of body round kicks, that's probably not as effective. You probably want to focus a bit more on the Dutch style where you move from the outside where you're protecting yourself, you get to the inside, you let your combos rip, you come with the low kicks. As soon as you put your foot down, you come from your low kick right back into your combo and then you exit. You need to be very springy quite often, so if somebody moves to you, you can jump back. Mike Zambides was a great person to look up if you're a shorter fighter, how you can fight to be very safe, be very effective. You also want to get very good at counter shots. So if somebody throws a jab at me, instead of just eating the shot, I slip my head and I make them pay with that overhand. Fakes are also very important as a shorter fighter. You don't want to always move straight in because a lot of times that front kick that we talked about for the long fighter is going to be in your stomach. You try to move in, they hit you. But if you're constantly jolting around doing your little fakes, and then when they're sort of freeze, you take your angle and you move in. It'll make it much easier for you to get that distance closed quickly and to make them pay with your bigger, stronger punches. Let's move on to somebody who's exceptionally strong. We get people sometimes who just are physical specimens. They get lots of power in their shots. You hold a pad for them, you're like, whoa, that was crazy. The amount of force you generate there will put anybody down if you can land the shots. If you're that type of fighter, that type of person who has crazy power, and you know that you can land with one shot, you're probably better off not being somebody who's so focused on throwing big, long combinations. Why, when I only need to land one to knock out, do I want to be jumping in, going here where people can exchange and counter me? You might be better staying on the outside, picking your shots, waiting to hit and counter, and playing a bit more of a controlled game, looking for those nice power shots that can put people down. But if you are a fighter who doesn't have as much power, somebody like myself, I recognize that I'm not the hardest hitter in the division. I'm not one of those guys who touches people and they just drop. But I do know that I can beat people based on volume. Eventually, if I hit them enough, they will go down. So a lot of my style is based on getting those long shots and throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing and making people pay with lots of volume. The volume is good if you're not somebody who's going to be knocking people down all the time. You just have to have a very on-point defense from in tight. From that in tight guard, I need to be able to move around and get some nice blocking, whereas somebody who has lots of power and wants to maintain distance and pick shots, you probably want to be a little bit more efficient at the long guard. Somebody throws a jab at me, I step and I move back, I create that distance. They throw a big wide hook. Instead of tightening up here, I reach and I block it. There are so many different ways to utilize your defense based on how hard you hit and how often you want to be punching. Another very important thing to keep in mind is finding what techniques work best for you. Sometimes people have an exceptionally strong arm. For myself, I can generate more power off my left arm than I can my right, but also for my left leg. If I'm doing, let's say, pistol squats, I can bang off 10 pistol squats on my left leg quite easy. My right leg, I get up to about 8 and I'm already burning down. So being aware of which side of your body is a little bit stronger. Now, maybe my left side is just stronger because throughout the years, I've thrown this twice as much as I've thrown this side, but figure out what works for you. If your upper body is exceptionally strong, obviously you want to focus on punching. If you have strong legs, you want to focus on kicking. Don't fight your body. Don't do what your body's not wanting you to. Your body will tell you what it wants. Just if you listen to it and go, okay, where am I strongest? Where am I weakest? Basing your whole game plan around that is going to be the smartest thing for you. And like I already said, the coach that you have might not be doing that for you. That's fine. It's something you can do yourself. It's something you recognize better than anybody because you know your own body. Guys, this was just a short little breakdown of this topic. I wanted to see if people are more interested in it. If you are, I will be sure to make a full video on it. Let me know in the comments down below if it's something that you want to see in more detail. If you enjoyed this first entry-level video on building your style around your physical attributes, give the video a like, please. Get subscribed if you haven't already. Train hard, guys. I'll see you back here soon for another video.